One of my sisters and brothers-in-law, thank God, have 6 children. The oldest 4 are quadruplets, and then the 5th one was born 20 months after the quads, and then the next one, the last one, born several years after that. The quadruplets were born 13 years ago, and 3 of the 4 are boys. So this past Shabbos, I got to attend a wonderful, unique family event, a hat-trick bar mitzvah of 3 of my nephews. My sister spoke at the bar mitzvah, and she told a great story about how she took her eldest son to the grocery store many years ago. After she finished paying, he started to help put the groceries into the bags. The checkout clerk was surprised at this and said to my sister, "How old is he?" My sister said, "He's 2.5." The woman said, "He's so helpful for such a young child." So my sister smiled and said, "Well, he's very mature. He's the eldest of 5. So the clerk was trying to wrap her mind around that. Why am I telling you a story about a family with 6 children that includes 4 born at once? Because it relates to this week's Torah portion. We're told that the Jews in Egypt were fruitful, and they multiplied, and they increased, and they filled up the land of Egypt. The Medrash says that there's a reason why the passage uses 6 different phrases to describe how fruitful the Jews were. It's hinting to us that the Jewish mothers were having 6 children at once. Now, I'm not sure if that Medrash is meant to be taken literally. One of my rabbis once explained that if you take every Medrash literally, you're a fool. But if you take none of them literally, then you're a heretic, a non-believer. So maybe it's somewhere in between. But even if the Jewish women were having multiple children each time they gave birth, would they really have filled up the entire land of Egypt, the reigning empire of the day, when the Jews had started off so modestly, only 70 people in the land of Goshen? So I heard an answer to that question as follows. An Egyptian would go to his doctor, and the doctor would be Jewish. He'd go to his lawyer, who was also Jewish. He'd go to his accountant, another Jew. So to the Egyptians, it seemed as if the Jews had filled up the entire Egypt. They were everywhere. It was a perception, not necessarily a reality. And I ask you, is it any different nowadays? Jews make up 0.2% of the population. And yet, if you go to your doctor or lawyer or accountant, there's a real good chance, better than 0.2% worth of a chance, that he or she will be Jewish. And look at all the ridiculous stereotypes and canards about how the Jews control the media and Hollywood and government and the world banking system, etc. Although, I will tell you, I have had potential clients ask me before hiring me, "Are you Jewish? Because I want a Jewish lawyer." I wouldn't necessarily advertise that as a reason to hire me, but some people might.
Dr. Lee Feldstein, fully licensed, fully trained, fully Jewish. Jewish! Jewish!
So as Jews, we have to realize that because of this perception that our influence is so much greater than our numbers would predict or suggest, which leads to the feeling that the Jews are everywhere and they're in control, we are always in the public eye. People are looking at us. So you have to understand, if you do the right thing, you're sanctifying God's name. Look what the Jew did. But if you do the wrong thing, you're disgracing God's name. It wasn't just you that did something wrong. It was the Jewish people. So every situation in which you find yourself in life is an opportunity to increase or decrease God's majesty in this world.